If you would have told me 5 years ago this is where I'd be sitting with you, I would have said, I highly doubt that, but okay. The beauty of having the success of a show like Buffy so early is that you achieve more than you ever think possible. I also have 2 young children, and I love the lesson that they've seen that, mommy had a great career. Mommy could have been doing that forever, but mommy had an idea. Mommy wanted to try something new, and mommy wanted to challenge herself.
What was the impetus for you launching Food Stirrers after having such a successful career in entertainment and striking out on your own as an entrepreneur?
I've always wanted to do something else, but I didn't know what that space was. And then I had children, and it was the typical cliche where everything changed and my priorities shifted and what interested me shifted. We were so aware of the rise of all these cooking shows. I mean, you'd have to not own a television to not be aware of the popularity of the Great Bake Off and the Food Network shows and all that. And our kids had this great interest. And on a look further, you then realize that the baking category in general was this $7 billion category that was predominantly 80% lion's share by these legacy brands that people had out of forced loyalty and wasn't something that I, as a modern consumer, would be interested in.
You've talked a lot about the fact that fundraising was this big challenge and bigger than you anticipated. What was that experience like for you, and how did you navigate it?
I think that people think it must be so easy coming as a celebrity into the fundraising arena. I probably got meetings with, big VCs that other people wouldn't get right at the bat. But it was a novelty. It was, let's see what Buffy has to say, but there was I don't think that there was a real interest, and it was really about us having to sell once in that meeting. And fundraising in general is difficult, but I always say that you're always gonna get no's, and no matter what job you're in. And I think that was the one thing that being in the entertainment industry prepared me for was the no's, because we get no's so often, So it didn't get me down as much because I know that it only takes one yes.
Was it ever frustrating for you because you had such success in one role and were so much part of sort of the cultural moments of the 90s, and as you've evolved and developed and are building new brands, was it hard for you to continue to be boxed within that?
I mean, that's an honor, right? If you as an actor have a role that's indelible in those people's minds, and that as a movie or a television show that lives on, whether it's Buffy, whether it's Cruel Intentions, I mean, that's an honor. That's what you hope for as an actor. So yes, would you love to be considered more seriously? But I also hadn't earned that right yet. Now I hope that the headlines aren't necessarily that, because I feel like we've proven ourselves, and I've proven myself, and we have proof of concept. But in the beginning, whatever gets them to notice, right?
It doesn't necessarily get you down as much, but was the rejection different for you, having, experienced a career where there are more no's than yeses often, but in a very different arena?
Sure, there are times where it feels personal. Mm-hmm. There are times, definitely, and then there are times where you're less in your head and you said, well, it's not for them. And, at the end of the day, too, you want smart money. And I think that's something else that we were all very well aware of in the beginning, which is you don't take the first check that comes around, because what do they have to offer in the long run? Is it someone you can work with? Is it someone whose experience is an asset to what you're doing? And is it someone that will support you when you need it, but also be hands-off? So you want to really look for not just money, but smart money.
So much of the work that you've done, and also work that entrepreneurs do, is under intense spotlight. What advice would you give to others in terms of, silencing out the critics and knowing when to listen to the feedback?
My husband and I always talked about that. And we always said, if you're going to believe all the good reviews, then you have to give the negative reviews the same equal amount of attention and authenticity. But I think the most important thing, and that I've learned through all of this, is surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And that's my best advice, is to have those people around you that, can talk you off the ledge and can also, pick you back up.